how are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Now picture this, waking up to the sound of gentle waves, sipping coffee or tea on the deck overlooking the water, and ending the day with sunset boat rides. That's the dream of lake house living. But what exactly is a lake house? Is it just a home near the water, or is there more to it? In today's video, we're going to dive into the details of lake houses, what they are, what makes them special, and what you need to consider before owning one. Let's get started. To state the obvious, a lake house is a residential property located directly on or near a lake, not on the lake, but on the property touching the lake, designed to offer scenic views, easy water access, and a lifestyle centered around nature and recreation. Sounds like a dream, right? These homes can be primary residence, a vacation home for a owner, or even an investment property used for short or long-term rentals. Now, unlike a regular home off the lake, it typically has unique design elements like very large windows so you can see views of the water from everywhere, open decks to enjoy the water view outside, and private docks to maximize that enjoyment of the waterfront. Not all lake houses are the same. You can have that cozy cabin, perfect for a weekend getaway, while others are going to be more like a luxury estate with private beaches and boathouses that you can practically live in. There's also off-grid lake houses designed for those who want a more self-sufficient lifestyle, but usually around here that's going to be more something you find on the river. Now, lake houses are typically built with relaxation and entertainment in mind. You're going to have an open floor plan. They want to maximize that natural light coming in and reflecting off the water. You're going to have a seamless flow between indoor living and outdoor living. So the type of lake house you choose will definitely depend on your budget, the location within the country and the state and the city, and how you plan to use that property, whether you're going to use it for your primary goal of relaxation and retirement home or adventure, or do you want rental income, or you can only use it occasionally, or is it going to be where you are all the time and maybe not use the lake that much. But you're going to want a place that you can handle wet feet, sandy paws, and the occasional summer storm. Now keep in mind that the lake size usually determines house size. So the smaller the lake, the smaller the house is, because the lots may be smaller, and usually that is reflected in the price. So if you're more of a fishing fanatic, you're going to want a lake that has a healthy fishing population. So you're going to want to do your research. Now, if you're more like a water sports person that wants to be skiing and tubing and speedboating, you're going to want open water where you can go fast and a long ways. Now, if you want that smaller cabin feel, you're going to be looking more for on the river probably, or those smaller lakes. If you want the luxury estates with the really big houses, 5,000 square feet, and the boathouse and an acre of land, you're going to have to go to the larger lakes. So it is important that you write down what you want as well as do research about the areas. Owning a lake house comes with plenty of perks. You get the natural beauty and tranquility of just living on the lake. It will improve your mental well-being. It will reduce your stress just by being that close to the water. You'll have tons of recreational opportunities like swimming or fishing or having a boat right there if you choose to have a boat as well. You may not, you may just have the dock. But lake houses often appreciate in value also, making them a solid long-term investment. Whether you buy it and have it as a rental income or you just buy it and sell it, of course that's going to depend on what market you bought and in what market you sold it in, but in general it's going to appreciate and it is a good investment. As long as you keep it well maintained, it's going to be an asset for you. Now if you're on a limited budget and you can't necessarily buy a lakefront home, a good thought to think about is having a lake view home. Usually those are across the street from the lake, so you still have a good view, and if you talk to your neighbors, you might even get them to let you have access to the lake, which would save you a lot of money in taxes and insurance. So that's another option to think about. Speaking of valuable insights, if you're enjoying this video and want more lake home real estate tips, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Now, of course, lake house ownership isn't all sunshine and boat rides. Maintenance can be a challenge. You have to think about extra things beyond a normal house, like erosion, water damage to your property or your dock, and keep it upheated. You got to keep the roof maintained. You got to keep the dock boards maintained. You got to keep the floats maintained. Plus, your insurance costs are going to be higher due to increased risks of flooding and storms because you're on that water. Also, you may have increased liability issues because if somebody gets hurt on your property or falls in the lake, there's potential insurance issues there. Accessibility can also be an issue with lake homes in our areas because some lake homes are high off the water, a little bit ways from the water, so they're out of that flood zone. There are some lake houses in flood zones in our area, but there are not many. So you just want to make sure that you are aware of that, and you ask the person that you're buying the property from, if you're in the buying process, if they have home flood insurance for their home. Now, depending on the climate, you also maybe have to worry about freezing pipes if you're using it as a vacation home or an investment property on a nightly rental. So you're going to have to winterize the property. Along with insurance, taxes are likely going to be higher due to the location of the property. Normally, lake houses are a little bit bigger, so of course you're going to have to deal with the square footage issue, and also the land is more valuable, and usually your taxes are based on the value of the property, so your taxes are going to be higher. Now, in Cherokee Village, SID taxes are significantly higher on lakefront property. Lakefront property and Gulffront property SID taxes are capped at $740. Most of the larger lakes like Thunderbird and Omaha are capped out at $740 because they value those lands at 30,000 lots. The lots are valued at 30,000, but some of the smaller lakes are valued at 15,000, so it's not quite as expensive. Now, if you go to an interior lot, the SID is only $90. So that's a huge difference because they only value those lots at $2,500. So that's another way to save money is, again, with that lake view property, you're going to save tons on taxes and probably insurance because of that. If you're considering buying a lake house, here are a few things that you might want to think about. Consider the location of the property on the lake. Is it a prime spot? That means you're probably going to be paying more for it. Does it actually have a view? Because if you're down in a cove, you might not actually have a view, or you may just have a view of the owner across the lake. How much water access does it have? If it's in that cove, is it shallow water or is it deep water? Maybe even does it have a private dock? If you're not going to have a boat there at your property, that may not be a big deal to you, but you want to make sure if it does have a dock, if you do want to know that. And also consider the slope of the land. Does it go down to the water so the runoff from the rain is going to go in the lake? Or is it coming towards the house that you have to worry about drainage issues going into your crawl space or your basement? And which way does the wind usually go? That can make a difference with how much water damage you get as well. Also, what is the depth of the water at the property? Is it in a cove where you might not be able to drive your boat up to your dock and have to moor it, or are you going to be able to get in and out easily throughout the year? Does it have a private dock or is it a shared dock? We sold one property that was in a cove where the houses were right on top of each other and there wasn't enough actual room to put two docks, and they shared a dock and they were okay with it. So just be aware if it is a shared dock or it is a private one. Now, who maintains the lake, and is it a stocked lake? Especially if you're that fisherman, you want to see if it is stocked and how well it's maintained. Is the algae taken care of? Who does all that? For example, in Cherokee Village, the lakes are maintained by SID, and they're supposed to be stocking the lakes, but I haven't seen them do it, so I don't know if it is, but I assume that it is. Now, if the shoreline, you want to look and see if it's stable. Do you have to worry about erosion control? Is there a retaining wall already on the property? Is it something that's deteriorated? Does it need to be maintained now? Is it a property that you need to put a retaining wall in? So a lot of that is all being taken into consideration. Now, a couple years ago, there was a flyover by FEMA, and they saw all our lakes, and they're like, oh, all those houses are in a flood zone. Well, no, not really, they're not. So every homeowner in Cherokee Village had to get a elevation certificate that says they weren't in the flood zone. So that's something that you're gonna have to ask that homeowner, do you have flood insurance? Now, if they don't have a mortgage, they may not be required to have flood insurance, so then you gotta go to your insurance provider and say, do I need flood insurance for this house? If you have a mortgage or not, you may wanna get it no matter what. But you just wanna make sure of your flood possibilities with any property that you're looking at. Also, you're gonna wanna look at utilities. In this area, Cherokee Village, Horseshoe Bend, Hardy, and Ozark Acres, they all have municipal water sources. So you don't have to usually worry about wells unless you get farther out. but many of them don't have sewer. Many of them have septic systems. You're going to want to make sure that you're aware of those, because when it comes to lake homes and septic systems, you have to be so far away from that water, and most lake houses you have to pump it to the front yard, where usually your water runs down to the backyard to the lake. So you have to pump the septic back up, and that can cause additional problems with the pump and the tank and things like that. So that's something else to be aware of. Also, if you're planning to do that investment property, whether it's short or long term, you need to make sure that the regulations for the city allow that. There may be a restriction on the number of houses that can do that, and they may be already at their limit. You want to see that the lake that you're buying on has the boating that you want to be able to do. Maybe it only allows kayaks and canoes, but you want a speedboat or a pontoon boat on there. Or even if you plan to expand the building or build a garage. All of those things are things that you're going to want to look into before you buy. So make sure that you do your homework up front so there's no surprises down the road. Now, before committing to that lakefront living, here are a couple things that you just might want to ask yourself and evaluate. Will you be using this as a primary home, that vacation home, a long or short-term rental? Because that determines where you would want the house, and probably more how specific you're going to want the house to be. Are you prepared for that upkeep and the potential costs? You know, there's going to be more maintenance, possibly higher utilities and higher taxes and insurance. So you want to make sure you evaluate that, as well as the cost of the actual purchase price. And consider too, how much are you going to realistically spend time there? If it's already someplace you've been coming to and visiting to, I'm sure you know. But if it's a new plan to start coming to this area, you might want to seriously consider about how much you're going to use it. And you really need to be on the lake. Certainly not trying to talk to you about out of buying a lakefront property, but just consider that there are other opportunities to enjoy the area without paying that bigger price tag. So a lake house, of course, can be an incredible lifestyle upgrade, but it is not the right fit for everyone. So taking the time to evaluate your needs and your financial situation will help you decide if it's the right move for you. A lake house is more than just a home, it's a lifestyle. Whether you're drawn to the peaceful views, endless recreation opportunities, or investment potential, understanding what a lake house is and what it entails is key to making a smart decision. So are you thinking about buying a lake house, or do you already have one? Share your thoughts in the comments below and tell me if I forgot anything. And if you found this video helpful, check out this video about a lakefront neighborhood in our area. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.